Hello there. In this video, I'm going to explain what a callback function is. What is a callback function? A callback function is any function that is called by another function, which then takes the first function as a parameter or argument. So a callback function is a function that is passed into another function as an argument, which is then invoked inside the other function in order to complete some kind of routine or an action. So let me show you an illustration of how a callback function works. I'm going to be using the developer console in your web browser, but I'm going to do that from a blank website. So if you type in about:blank and press enter in the address bar of your web browser, and that will give you this blank page. Just right click anywhere on the blank page and click inspect and click on console. So normally with the console, it allows you to write single lines of code. So, but you can also write multiple lines of code by holding down the shift key and pressing down the enter on your keyboard, and that will give you multiple lines of code. Okay, so I'm going to just hold down my shift and press that, so it gives me multiple lines. I'm going to create two functions. To create a function, you have to type in the function keyword followed by parentheses, followed by the name of the function before the parentheses. You give the function a name first. So I'm going to give this function a name called greeting, and then you have the parentheses. Inside the parentheses, you pass in any argument or parameters. I'm going to pass in name as an argument. I do a space, I do the curly braces, and I'm going to hold down shift. Each time you want to create space in the console, you need to hold down the shift and enter at the same time. If you hold down just enter, it will take you to the next line. So make sure you hold down shift and enter to create multiple lines. So in between the curly braces, I'm going to add an alert statement, which will give me a pop-up message. So I'll type in alert, and inside the parentheses for the alert, I'm going to include the text I want to be displayed. So I'll type in hello, I do a space. The reason there's a space here so that it creates a gap between the text, and I do plus. The plus is known as a concatenation operator. Is used to add two strings or text together. I do a space followed by the name that is going to be passed in there as an argument. Once I do that, you do a semicolon. All right, that is the first function. So I'm going to bring my mouse here, hold down the shift, press enter a few times, and I'll start with the second function I want to create. So I'm going to start with the function keyword. I'll type in function followed by the name I want to call the function. I'm going to call this user input. Okay, and inside the parentheses, I'll type in callback. Okay, do a space, opening and closing curly braces. Hold down shift and press enter to separate the curly braces. And in between the curly braces, I'm going to define a variable and set that to equals to a prompt. A prompt is a means of getting input from a user. So I'll type in var to create a variable. I'll call the variable name, and I'm going to set that to equals to a prompt. Okay, and with the prompt you have to put a text in there. I'll say please enter your name. Okay, please enter your name and do. All right, and then hold down shift. Not yet. Go back to the next line, and this time I'm going to type in callback followed by name. So I'm going to put a semicolon there, and then I'm going to call this function, which is called user input, and then I'm going to pass in this first function as the argument. All right, so I'll call that here, and I'll type in user input, and I'm going to pass in the name of the first function. Okay, then this time I just press enter without the shift, and it should give me this prompt, which is asking me to enter a name. So I'll type in Rick, press OK. It tells me hello Rick. I'll click OK. So that's basically how a callback function works. So a callback function is any function that you can call by another function which takes the first function as a parameter. All right, so I'm using this, I've called this function here called user input, and I'm taking the name of this first function greeting as a parameter. So that's it for this video on callback function. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.